Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksurindritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Two short mantras means prayer, very short, that I would like all of you to kindly repeat after me. We can all fold our hands, holding it close to the heart. The first one is well known. The second one, you have to listen more attentively. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. And here comes the second one that you have to listen to carefully. Om Surabhyai Namaha.
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 Mukam karoti vasalam tvangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Varum Dinatharanam yatkripatamaham vande Shri Varum Dinatharanam. Hare Krishna. Very happy to be here after some time, quite some time. Actually, our Krishna Dalal Prabhu gave a very correct kind of intro in terms of mentioning something about equal development, equal concern. It's a very important topic, to say the least, in our present context in the world today. And it's amazing how the founder Acharya of our society, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, I'm always amazed actually, because Srila Prabhupada, some of you may or may not know, he was a city boy. He was from Calcutta. Calcutta is one of the big major cities in India. And although he was from Calcutta, Calcutta is close to Mayapur. Who's been to Mayapur here? Wow, quite a few fortunate souls. And Vrindavan? More, wow. And quite a few fortunate souls here in the assembly. So Calcutta, in one sense, is like the gateway to Mayapur. Normally we land in Calcutta, and to go to Mayapur it's about 3 hours, 2.5 hours. Now the roads are better, so it takes a little less time. So although Srila Prabhupada was born, in the city of Calcutta, he has such a clear vision and understanding as to what is meant to be, what has always meant to be a more natural way of living. When we speak about what is natural, when we speak about what is original, we actually are speaking about a very important concept that we hear about all the time, and that is a deep subject matter actually, and I'm talking about the concept of dharma. Dharma is a Sanskrit term which I would think is becoming more popular nowadays, like yoga. Yoga has been known, of course, for many, many years. But dharma is a concept that even ourselves as devotees, we need to deepen our understanding, because it's only people in the human body, human form of life, who can begin to understand dharma. And dharma is not something that is man-made. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, it is explained in the Shastra, in the divine writings, scriptures, that dharma is actually created by God. Dharma is created by Krishna. And that's why in India, especially, of course, now all over the world, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, people know something about Sanatan Dharma. Who's heard about Sanatan Dharma? I hope a few. Of course, yeah, Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means eternal. And Dharma means quite a few things. It means our quality, our occupation, what is more natural. Just like we like to be natural. The more natural we are, the more we connect with our original nature. So today I want to speak on this subject matter of, it's connected actually with many things, very, very essential, very important aspects of our individual lives that we can actually learn about and become more closely connected with the whole principle of dharma. Let me try to explain briefly, because dharma is spoken about everywhere in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we understand about dharma, the more we understand about dharma, what will happen? We'll become more happy. And everyone wants to be more happy, isn't it? Everyone is actually looking for happiness. But unless we know about the principles of dharma, because principles of dharma, they are the ones that regulate or give us a clear understanding of how we can actually be happy. How we can be happy in life, both spiritually and also materially. Everyone is working very hard actually trying to become happy, not knowing what is the proper way or method. So Srila Prabhupada, because he was born in a Vaishnava family, he was born in a devotee family, just like some of our children here are fortunate to be born in devotee families. Prabhupada explains there are two things. If one has in one's life, then there are very good chances that he'll become fully self-realized. Self-realized means fully, completely, always happy. One is to be born in a devotee family, number one. And secondly, one who is fortunate to come in contact with devotees, and in particular, teachers who can guide us how to make our life so successful. So dharma exists in terms of our spiritual nature, and also dharma exists in terms of our material nature. And there's one great personality, one great saintly person who is one of our 12 Mahajans. Let's see if anyone can remember. His name begins with a Nen. 12 Mahajans. N. Yes, Narada Muni. Narada Muni is a very prominent teacher, and he has many students, many disciples. So one day he was speaking, he was visiting another great personality by the name of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is a very prominent person in the Mahabharata. He is the elder brother of Arjuna. So Narada Muni, he's like a traveling, he's described actually in Bhagavad Gita as a traveling spaceman. That's how he's described. He's a transcendental spaceman. He can travel. He doesn't need a ship also. I mean, he doesn't need a spaceship. He travels, very unique, very unusual, because he's an unusual personality. He travels sometimes in the spiritual world, sometimes he travels in the material world. So one time he was traveling, visiting Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, he's a king, not only the king, like he's the emperor of the whole world. That was like 5,000 years ago. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, he wanted to hear from him. He told him, I'm a householder, and I want to hear, because you're a saintly person, I want to hear from you about dharma. And Narada Muni began by this one, he told him many things, he began by this one simple instruction. Dharma mulam hi bhagavan sarva vedamayo harihi smritam chat vidam rajan yena chatma prasidati. Which means, dharma mulam hi bhagavan, the root of dharma, mulam, the essence, the root of dharma, is to know about Bhagavan. Bhagavan means Krishna. Sarva Veda Mayo Harihi. Sarva means all. Veda. All the Vedic literatures point in that direction. Hari, another name for Krishna. And then he says, Smritam cha, smriti. Those who are serious about life, they will try to constantly remember. They will try to meditate about dharma. They will try to understand more clearly, more deeply, how I should live my life so I can be happy in this life and I can be happy in the next life. Smritam chat vidam raja. Yena chatma prasidati. Which means the more we understand about dharma, then all of our necessities of life, all of our material necessities. What's one of the most important material necessities? Food. Food, very good. Prasadam. For devotees, prasadam. Yes, every day we have to eat. So where do we get the food from?
Here.
Here. Here? Where do we get food from?
Plants.
Plants, yes. That's a much better answer than the market. Yeah, plants. From the land, isn't it? From the land. So Prabhupada was understanding this point that Narada Muni was making, that dharma is not only practicing spiritual activities like chanting Hare Krishna, like doing puja every day, like worshipping the deity. These are directly spiritual activities that nourish the Atma, the soul. But there are others, there's a whole realm, different realm of activities which are meant to help us live more in harmony with our body and with nature as well. So that is called material sadhana. And there are three elements. This is also spoken by another Mahajan, another authority, spiritual authority, by the name of, who's another great personality, starts with a V. Yes. Yes, okay. Bhishmadev, Grandfather Bhishmadev. Grandfather Bhishmadev, very important personality, who also spoke and instructed Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Bhishmadev speaks about three gifts of nature that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has given us, all of us, three essential gifts that if we know how to properly utilize, if we know how to properly protect, and even we could say worship, because all three of those gifts are worshipable. They're so important. Now this time I will ask that you raise your hand before you, because some of you, but not many, probably know the answer to this question. But we should try to think, what are three things that are absolutely, at least in the Vedic culture, when Krishna and Balaram and the residents of Vrindavan were manifesting their pastimes, those three gifts of nature are especially, we could say, prominent. So it might be a little harder for those of us, and that means most of us, who live in cities, to identify those three gifts of nature. But I think we have very intelligent devotees here. By nature, devotee means very intelligent. So what would you say are three very important things that we cannot do away with if we want to actually live properly, both materially and spiritually? If you have some idea, you can raise your hand. Three things, and you can think about Vrindavan, because that will help you. Oh, back there. Yeah, no. Just mention one of the three. Land. Okay, we already mentioned land. Yeah, food. Food comes from the land, so food. Hey, mention only one. Oh, sorry. We have some advanced evolution. Yes, land. So, land, Mother Bhumi. Land is, we say Mother Nature, because from nature we get actually all of our necessities of life. We are meant to know. We are meant to know how to get all of our necessities of life if we live a more simple and natural lifestyle. So yes, land. We say the land of Vrindavan. And you already mentioned the second one, which is? Cows. Yes. Cows are this short prayer we sang in the beginning, Om Surabhyai Namaha. So Surabhyai means to Mother Surabhi. The name Surabhi is the name of the original cow in the spiritual world. Where's the spiritual world? What's the name of the spiritual world? Yes, Goloka Vrindavan. So Goloka Goloka means the planet of cows. And when Krishna manifests, when he comes in the material world, he displays or he manifests the same pastimes. Means that Krishna is surrounded by cows in Goloka Vrindavan, and when he comes in Bhoma Vrindavan, in the Vrindavan and the material world, he also surrounds himself, or Krishna cannot, in other words, Krishna cannot live without cows. So these are two of the three gifts of nature that nowadays, unfortunately, we have become disconnected from. Very few people actually, especially if we live in city, are knowing about cows or knowing about land. And that is why Prabhupada many times he would say, first is food, means if you can solve, this is the first everyday problem that we all have, is like, when's the next meal or what's the next meal? What to prepare. But what we forget in modern day society is that we don't really know where that food is coming from. Because most of the food that is produced today is not produced as it should be in a natural way. We're using so much of chemical fertilizers, and we are actually polluting. We are polluting the land very, very badly. We have been since the last century. And most of us cannot imagine to what extent the land has become polluted, because when land is polluted, whatever you grow from that land also becomes polluted. And what happens when we eat something that is polluted? We also become polluted. It means our body becomes unhealthy, and all kinds of diseases and problems arise. So, production of food is mentioned, of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and therefore there's a third element or a third gift of nature. That is, what is the third gift of nature? It's called knowledge. It means learning different types of knowledge, both material knowledge and spiritual knowledge, that can help us to live based on the principles of Dharma. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada, again, although he was from city, he could understand the importance of this more simple lifestyle. In the introduction a little earlier, Krishna Gopal Prabhu was mentioning about agrarian life. Yeah, come a little closer. Agrarian life. Vedic culture is promoting, advocating, or based on agrarian living. Something that we have forgotten about to a large extent in modern day society. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he wanted that we as a society become aware and conscious. There are organizations actually of people who are not devotees, who are quite conscious. There are different eco movements existing, some of them even over 50 years. One of them I came across quite some years back. It's called GEN, Global Eco Network. Their whole approach is to encourage people to come back to a more simple, natural way of living. Because how we live, where we live, what work we do affects our consciousness. And therefore, we as devotees, we want to develop a good consciousness, a healthy consciousness, a pure consciousness. Without developing a pure consciousness, we cannot so easily think about or remember Krishna. So, in the very early days when Srila Prabhupada went to America, shortly after establishing, what year did Prabhupada establish his international society? 1966, yes. So shortly after, within a couple of years, he established his first farm community in New Vrindavan, isn't it? West Virginia, which is still existing today, and also many other communities. There's one probably more well-known community, some of you may have heard, in Hungary, called Krishna Valley. The whole valley full of Krishna devotees. I think they have maybe close to 200 devotees. And recently, this is under the guidance of His Holiness Sivaram Maharaj, and just recently, maybe a month back or so, in Europe, Hungary's in Europe, they have a European Council that is especially interested in such development. So this council actually awarded Krishna Valley community of devotees an award for being the best self-sufficient community in the whole Europe. Yeah, it's worth a Haribol. Here are people who are not devotees, but who can understand that these people are devotees of Krishna Valley. They've been developing the community for the last 25 years or so. I had the good opportunity to visit a few times as well, and they're producing like 8 times more grains than they actually need. They're producing most of their vegetables, and all of the members in the community, they have like 2 or 3 days where, I mean, they all have different occupations, but all the members in the community, they go out and also do some activities connected with the cows, connected with the land. So in this way, everyone is more directly connected. Now some of you may say, well, that all sounds very nice, but I'm here in the city, what am I supposed to do? There are laws, I can't have a cow in my backyard. I don't even have a backyard. Most of us, I mean, if you're living in a high-rise apartment, if you're lucky, you have a little square, a little balcony where you can, that balcony actually, which is the minimum that most people have, you can start to grow some things. Idea is that not only we should be connected in terms of spiritual activities, like in a temple, but those activities connected with the land, like growing. I mean, everyone can have a small plot. You don't need a big piece of land to grow some tomatoes or to grow some flowers to offer to Krishna. Because nowadays, I don't know about this garland, but most garlands in the world offered to the Lord are not from devotee gardens. I mean, when I was in Montreal some years back, I used to personally go and buy flowers from the market. And, they come from all the way, maybe California or something. Most of the flowers that we offer to Gaurnitai or to our deities, or if we have an altar at home, most of those flowers are not natural original flowers. So, and the same goes with the food actually. So Prabhupada explained that what we offer to Krishna, at least for the food he mentioned, becomes 100 times the value. It's like if you offer an ordinary tomato or whatever to Krishna, okay, he's happy because you're offering something. But if you offer your own homegrown tomato, it's like offering 100 tomatoes. Krishna is very happy. Yeah. Same thing with flowers. Because flowers don't come, I mean, generally, maybe, of course, in the summertime, there are more local flowers available, but in the wintertime, it's more of a challenge. But most of what we use ourselves, most of what we offer to Krishna is not ideal. And we can make a change, we can make a difference, we can actually start to grow. It's actually very interesting when you start to grow things. Of course, we're all busy in so many different ways. I'm not saying that you just stop doing everything you're doing, and of course some of you, it might be good to do, because we are very much in need of people, including devotees, who in a very meaningful way reconnect actually with Mother Nature, and also reconnect with cows. Most of us are unaware how important cows are meant to be in our lives and also in general society. When we begin to study a little bit about the activities of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan, then we begin to understand how it is the cows in Vrindavan who actually take care of the residents. Of course, I mean, every day Krishna and Balaram take care of the cows, but the mood and the mentality we should be developing is that actually ultimately the cows take care of us. Just like Krishna ultimately takes care of us as well. So, in the last, there's a theme, very important theme, which I want to share with you today in connection with what I'm trying to explain. And that theme is in 3 words. Yeah. Make Vrindavan villages. If we can begin to understand that our Vedic culture is an agrarian-based culture. What does it mean? Agrarian-based culture means connected with cows, connected with land. It means that actually the majority of people in the Vedic culture, not only in India, around the world, actually it used to be like that. Majority of people are meant to live off the land, are meant to live actually in connection with the land. And we live in very difficult times right now. I'm sure most of you understand. Economically, we are on very critical situation. Socially, educationally, in all levels actually, because we are far removed from the more natural Vedic ways of living. Small example regarding education. When we speak about Vedic education, what word comes to our mind? Let's ask our younger generation here. What word comes to mind when we speak about Vedic education? Somebody can say? Yes?
The Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. That is correct, but there's another word I'm looking for. It starts with a G. Parents should not tell their kids. What's the educational school or system in India? Gurukul. Yeah, Gurukula. What is the meaning of Gurukula? Kula means a place, home, residence of the Guru or the teacher. In Gurukul, Vedic system, children from the age of 5. Actually, Prabhupada wrote a small essay I will ask the question, how many of you know about what is called Gita Nagari, essay? Not many, yeah. Gita Nagari. What does Gita Nagari mean? Who knows? Gita means of course Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Gita means Bhagavad Gita, and Nagari, people from India will know, means village or residence or community, place where people live. So Prabhupada wrote this essay, Gita Nagari, means wherever we live, we should live based on the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. So, Srila Prabhupada, he wanted us to develop this kind of understanding, this way of living, and therefore, even though we are living in the city, we should try to learn how to gradually introduce some of these different practices. You know that in India, people in the villages especially, they use a lot of cow dung to clean the house. Cow dung is that's one of many reasons why cows are so important, because everything about a cow, the whole body of the cow is pure. If we touch a cow, if we are in the presence of cow, we become purified. Not only that, I want to show you something. Not only that, but the cows are by nature, they're born in the mode of goodness. Most of us in Kali Yuga are not born in the mode of goodness. Kali Yuga is that place where majority of people are born, in lower mode of ignorance, mode of passion. Mostly mode of ignorance, I think. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. So just think about this. Most of us, we are influenced heavily by the mode of ignorance. But the cow, without any effort, is in the mode of goodness. So what does that mean? It means if we spend time with cows, we also become good. We also develop the mode of goodness. So everything about cow is very auspicious. I have a cell phone like most of you have. Very difficult to do without one nowadays. But in my cell phone I have this little chip. You can't see it very much, but and you can't see what's inside the chip, but what is inside the chip is something that might surprise you. What do I have inside the chip? What does the Swami have inside? $1 million question. Inside this little chip is cow dung. Wow. What's Maharaj doing with cow dung? Because cow dung, not only is it medicinal, antiseptic, but cow dung is anti-radioactivity. Yes. There's so many things we don't know about cows because we don't live with cows. We're disconnected with cows. I'll tell you a short anecdote that happened maybe 40 years ago in India. I was just telling the story yesterday, but it's very telling. There's one big city, some of you from India will know, Bhopal, maybe 40, 50 years back. They have some big, industry that one day, some big explosion. So all kinds of, anyone know about Bhopal?
Yes. Gas tragedy.
Yeah, right, yeah. So what happened? So many people died because of all kinds of gas that was let loose. thousands of people died in the city of Bhopal. Big news, naturally. Except one family. In the middle of the city where it happened, thousands of people died in all the homes except in one house. Naturally, how come they didn't die? That was the question. So the reporters went to interview them. How come you're still here? Everyone else, was affected by this great tragedy. And then they explained, actually we're from the village. We just moved recently to Bhopal. And in our village, every day, everyone in the village, they take cow dung and they smear it inside the house, on the floor, and around the house. So we were in that habit, so we did the same thing here, and that protected us from the radiation. There are so many benefits actually of mother cow, and it's so unfortunate in so many ways because most of us don't live with cows, don't have easy access to cows, but actually we can begin to do many things, even regarding cows. To become Krishna conscious without being cow conscious is actually difficult. The more we become cow conscious, nature conscious, land conscious, more easily we will become Krishna conscious. There's that nice verse, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnum Aradhanam Param. Parvati was asking Lord Shiva, there's so many great personalities in the world. It's confusing. Everyone is saying, he's so great, he's so great. Who is the greatest? That was her question. And Lord Shiva answered, actually, of all the great personalities, Vishnu is the greatest personality. Then he continues, Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadyanam Savarsanam. Means, even greater than Vishnu is what is very dear to Vishnu. Cows are very dear to Vishnu. Mother Nature is very dear to Vishnu. Brahmanas are very dear to Vishnu. Vaishnavas are very dear to Vishnu. So when we serve the Vaishnavas, when we serve the Brahmanas, when we serve Krishna's cows, Krishna becomes pleased, happy. And we benefit also in so many different ways. So in our homes we can have just like, any cows on the altar? You have to get cows. Yeah, every temple, like Montreal from the very beginning, they have these two big beautiful cows, right? Yeah, just nicely sitting there, totally in ecstasy, in trance. Every temple in our home, we can have small cows, can have picture. We can get, instead of offering, we're talking about garlands, instead of offering incense, which generally, if we're not careful, we'll end up having in our home and offering incense which is full of chemicals, which is not good for the health. One devotee in Bali, Indonesia, who was working at mixing this toxic mixture with incense, practically died, actually, because he was just inhaling every time, the fumes. It's toxic. So in India, more and more of our devotees are making incense from cow dung. You can make wonderful incense from cow dung, and it smells great. Nowadays, they make paint. You can paint your home. It's called cow dung paint. can make some. Yeah. So the more we surround ourselves with things that are in the mode of goodness, because so many of these products connected with cow, I mean all of them are in the mode of goodness, then we develop the mode of goodness. And what is one of the symptoms of someone who's in the mode of goodness? Evam prasana manaso bhagavat bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasa jayati. Manasa means mind. Prasana Brahma bhuta prasanatma. Prasana means peaceful, happy, satisfied. When we come to the mode of goodness, we become happy. Therefore, Prabhupada would say, the simple definition of a devotee is someone who's happy. Devotee means he's happy. When we become situated in the mode of goodness, we become happy. And therefore, to become situated in the mode of goodness, we can and should surround ourselves with things that are in goodness. That's why we come to temple. Temple, of course, is beyond the mode of goodness. It is pure goodness. It is transcendental, spiritual. So the food that we eat, if we can grow our own food or connect with people, even in the city now more and more, people, they try to find some small plot of land. There are community gardens. There's so many things actually, they call it, what is it? Even they have forests, small forests. It's very important how we eat, what we eat. It affects our consciousness. That's why in temples, I remember in the early days, I joined here, not exactly on Somerset, but our temple used to be on Besur, just behind Rido. Way back in 1973 was the first time I entered our Hare Krishna Sunday feast program. And from Ottawa we used to go to Montreal. And at that time, that was before we had the temple on Alpina, where it is now. It was on the, Avenue du Parc. It was a bowling alley on the second or third floor. And I was a new devotee, and I remember seeing, when I was going there to that temple for the Sunday program, all of the devotees who were serving in the kitchen, they were all wearing masks actually, because they had very high level of cleanliness. And only Brahmanas, only those who were second initiated, could even dare, enter the temple. Things have changed somewhat. But cleanliness, how we, because cleanliness is connected with one of the 4 pillars of Dharma, coming back to Dharma. What are the 4 pillars of Dharma? Who knows? Raise your hand. 4 pillars of Dharma mentioned by Narada Muni. And who knows the Sanskrit?
Satyam, Daya, Tapa, Saucham.
Yes, you're reading the 7th canto. Satyam, Dapa, Satyam, Daya, Tapa, Saucham. Satyam means truthfulness. Daya, compassion. Tapa, austerity or discipline, and Saucham, cleanliness. Devotee means someone who is truthful, who is caring about others, who avoids at all costs to create any kind of suffering in others, isn't it? Always conscious about the welfare of others, and who is able to control his mind, his senses, and also externally and internally clean. So I want to maybe give a little bit of time. Normally, what time do you normally start? 7?
We usually have kirtan about 4:30 or so, but we can
okay.
continue on.
You can
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
No, I'll just take a few. Where? Oh, I forgot to bring that book. Can you go and get the book? I forgot to bring the book. Speaking about Varnashram. I don't think you have it here. You have it?
Which book?
Speaking about Varnashram.
Uh,
Probably.
yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Because I don't know where your car is, but I actually have a small gift for all of you. The Swami has a small gift for all of us, like us. But it's not. I only have one of these. Sometimes I carry some and I distribute. You can make this actually, and I highly recommend that you can you can make it maybe not as fancy as this one. This was made by another devotee. I didn't make it. You can use some what is it? You know when you sandpaper, sandpaper. You just take some sandpaper. You cut a little square, and you. This is the recipe, magic recipe. Not everyone gives away the recipes, but I'm giving you away this recipe. You take some sandpaper that's not too rough, because you're gonna put it on your jacket. I mean, behind your cell phone. So you want like more fine sandpaper. There are different qualities, and then you apply some cow dung. Now, don't put it right after applying the cow dung. You'll spoil your phone. You wait till it dries. It will dry within a short time. Then you put it on the back of your cover here. If you don't have a cover, you should get a cover. Manar Prabhu doesn't have a cover. So you need a cover for your cell phone. And then you put it there, and then you put your cell phone. Like that. And you will be protected by Gomata. Yeah, by Kalyan. But the gift I have for all of you is actually here. I carry around what is called my magical card. I have a magical card. How many of you have a magical card? Probably not many.
I have credit card.
Yeah, credit card is not magic. That's the last kind of card. Yeah, okay. That's a credit card. That brings the whole. Yeah, that's the book.
Just so happen to have it on me.
My God, wow. It's like bingo. Yeah. Great, you have the original also, the original cover. So I'll mention about the book and I'll come back to my gift in a few seconds. This is a very important book called Speaking About Varnashrama. And it speaks about the importance of land, the importance of cows, and the importance of cultivating knowledge. This is a picture of Srila Prabhupada with other devotees in Gita Nagari. Gita Nagari is one of our farm communities in, I believe, Pennsylvania, in the US. And it's 100% quotes, different statements, instructions given by Srila Prabhupada about these topics, about creating self-sufficient communities, etc. Coming back to my magical card, I didn't know such magical cards existed before I started my tour about a month and a half ago. But if you have a cell phone, and most of you do, if you have one program that's called NFC, you'll automatically get the link, like it just happened now, which will open. I'll just show you. Well, I probably am not connected, that's why it won't come up. Even if you don't have this particular program on, you can scan here, and you can actually get the link. I mention this because this book is one of many things that is digitally available. You can have this book if you download this particular link. And as a matter of fact, we have groups of devotees in different countries who are meeting, and they're having like a weekly meeting, like we have Bhakti Vriksha or Namhata meetings where they read for about 20 minutes or half an hour, and then they have some discussion about cows, except we found it. Somebody had, yeah. So this book is available in this magical card, right? And it's one of many available things that are there, and there are different videos, there are different PowerPoints, and different websites, etc., like that. We need to become more aware and informed about these, especially 3 gifts of nature that Prabhupada spoke about quite extensively. So, we generally leave a few minutes for possible comments or questions. We'll do that right now. And then I think maybe have a little kirtan after or something. Or?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, great. Yeah, of course. We start with kirtan and end with kirtan. Same words. Any question or comments? We have a microphone here. If you just came in, okay, welcome. I should say I have a special guest today.
You have a special guest?
I have a special guest who came today.
Okay.
My own sister.
Wow!
I mean, I don't see her often, especially in one of our presentations. So special welcome. Yes. Actually, normally I ask the question before starting to speak, like, and I should ask it now also. Who's coming for the first time? Okay. 1, 2, okay, 3, yes. So special welcome, no, 4, right? Special welcome to those who are coming for the first time, because it's like something special, actually. And thank you for coming, those who are coming for the first time. So back to my, I already mentioned about my magical card. Now it's time we have a microphone if anyone has either comment or question. And wow, way in the back there. So microphone can make its way there. We know you probably have a big voice, but still.
Yeah, I could just talk.
No, we'll give you the mic. Give him the thing. Yeah. I know you have a powerful voice. You look like a powerful personality. My God. There you go.
Working? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, I double checked. Cow dung it's really important. I feel like I should mention it's really important for it to be dried and even pasteurized somehow.
Yes.
It can actually be very dangerous, E. coli. And then it does have mild antimicrobial properties according to ChatGPT. Anyway. When you were saying about the 3 things we need, it inspired me. I want to share it. I came up with 3 things twice. One is creativity, wisdom, and love.
Yes.
And that would be true in like a universe that doesn't have the same laws of physics as ours right now, I would feel. Another is vibration, cyclicality, and oneness. I just thought I'd share that. I thought it was cool and inspired me.
Okay.
And if I have a question for you, it would be Dharma, when you were trying to define it, I felt like it could be linked to the concept of the path of least resistance, maybe, which is like a law of science, kind of, right?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for the question and the comments. Yeah. Dharma actually does mean what is most Yeah, you can give the microphone back to, yeah. Dharma, which is absolutely essential for all of us in our daily lives, is referring to what is original and natural, but it requires some knowledge, some understanding, which is available from either individuals who are knowing about dharma, who are practicing the principles of dharma, and also from the books or writings that delineate or speak more about dharma. But actually, without a person who is applying the principles of dharma, just reading about it will not necessarily do the trick, so to speak. Thank you. Other comments or questions?
Question, Maharaj.
Yes, sir.
So Maharaj, you mentioned that before we can become Krishna conscious, we need to become cow conscious, right?
Yes.
It's a step to get there, right? You become conscious first before we become Krishna conscious.
Yes.
So, and then you also mentioned that, yeah, for some of us it may not be practical for us to have, a cow and or have the land in our flats.
Good.
But what are some practical ways that we can become cow conscious, like with the activities that we do in our day-to-day lives, to try to cultivate that fire, that desire, that kind of consciousness?
Yes. When we speak about consciousness means to become more aware, isn't it? Consciousness is directly linked with awareness. So a few things I was mentioning, in our daily lives, we can, in our homes, have photos of cows. So at least start thinking about cows. The very fact that we have pictures of cows, even though we cannot have a live cow, because most of us simply cannot, we could say it's like second best in that we can start thinking about cows. We can start utilizing what is called Panchagavya products. Panchagavya products means are different products made from cow. Most of the soap that we utilize every day, for example, that we purchase, that we call commercial soap, is very bad for the body. So there are natural soaps. There are soaps that are made just from cow dung itself, and maybe a few other ingredients, natural ingredients. We can start using incense, I was mentioning. Incense is available, maybe less here in Canada, but we have many devotees who are coming and traveling, let's say, and who can make some of that natural incense available. Toothpaste is another very important. I mean, every day we use toothpaste, but we can make, and devotees do make, and there is maybe on the market. We need to maybe speak to people who have Indian stores where they import actually different items from India, and we can request them if there's a sufficient demand, they will supply, isn't it? We can read more about the importance of cows. We can connect maybe with people, like I know here in Ontario. As a matter of fact, I think I'll be going there maybe the day after tomorrow. We have one devotee, at least one devotee, who has a farm, and he has actually deer cows. One of his cows, actually one of his bulls, traveled all the way to BC a couple of years ago, actually, because we also have deer cows there. In different ways, we should try to connect, to understand how important it is to become cow conscious. So by doing all of these small things, we'll develop slowly, gradually that awareness. And we have, like in India, many what is called goshalas, where people keep cows, and you can help, you can support some of these goshalas if you're in a position to donate something, for example. So whether it's in your home, you can introduce different ways of that will help you to remember cows. There are different books specifically that give more information on cows. Basically, all of us, we should make an endeavor to kind of educate ourselves, to learn more about cows and why they are so important and why they are one of the three gifts of nature mentioned by Grandfather Bhishmadev. And we definitely want to encourage devotees. I mean, I'm not up to date a little bit on what Krishna Deva Prabhu is doing, but I know that last time I was here, we visited, you have a project in Russell? Yeah, right. And maybe it needs to be, well, probably devotees know about that project. His project is connected, is in the country, is connected with land, with, I'm sure, growing something. So we should connect ideally with devotees who are having a bit more of that understanding, who possibly have some land. And as I mentioned, even if we don't have land, even if we cannot keep cows, there are many different practical ways. You can also find suggestions are here when you download this particular link. There's a whole list of other ways that you can become more closely connected with cow, and in this way develop. Becoming connected with cows means also simultaneously becoming connected with the lamb. These two are considered as mothers, very important mothers, and both of them, like a mother, like a natural mother, is meant to nourish the child. So we're meant to be nourished in different ways by the presence of cows, by the presence of land, and we are meant to be nourished by cultivating knowledge as well. So these are the three gifts of nature. One quick last comment.
Once the cow dies of old age, with the fat mixed with ash, you can make soap. Is that
Ash is also very important. Yeah.
is that a good use of the cow?
Yeah. In India, people bury the cow, but any kind of ash is good for the soil. There are many different ways, actually. So we can kind of read up on some of the available literatures on how we should or how we could be doing some of these things. So we'll take 5 minutes for kirtan, maybe, to wind it up. Yes. I have, yeah, right here. Where's the mridanga player?